So our outlook for the dollar for the next few months is still bullish. We certainly wouldn't want to fight that very strong uptrend in the US dollar. But one thing that we are noticing a little bit, and we think that the market is being a little bit lackadaisical about, is actually the inflation outlook. We've had Dudley from the New York Fed. We've also had Janet Yellen and others really say that the inflation outlook is slightly weak. In fact, Dudley, who is a noted dove, actually went as far as to say that he would rather see inflation rise above 2% for the economy to run a little hot before we even considered raising interest rates. So, we're a long way from that. Inflation does seem to have topped out. It has turned a little bit of a corner. If we see any weaker inflation going forward, that could really start to potentially damage the outlook for the dollar and could just thwart its uptrend. We don't really think the uptrend will end anytime soon, but we do think the pace of strength will go, what with the third quarter of the year being the strongest quarter for the US dollar in 2 years. We don't think it can continue to sustain that type of strength of gains, and there could just be maybe a bit more of a rocky road for the US dollar over the next few months. Now, we also have the US midterm elections. There could be a bit of a bonus for the US dollar actually on the outcome of that. So far, the polls are predicting a win for the Republican Party. They tend to be considered slightly more hawkish, but also more potentially having better control of the economy or being better managers of the economy. In that case, if we do see the Republicans win the Senate, that would mean that they have full control of Congress because they also control the House of Representatives. That could be, in the short term anyway, a bit of a benefit to the dollar. So around November 4th, we could see a little boost to the dollar if the Republicans take control of the Senate. Now, obviously, when it comes to the US dollar, oddly enough, or ironically enough, the stronger dollar is actually one of the reasons that could be weighing on inflation in the US economy. So it's a catch-22 position, really. The stronger dollar could be weighing on the dollar is strengthening because people expect the Fed to normalise monetary policy to start raising interest rates next year. Yet what could stop the Fed from raising interest rates next year is actually the strong dollar, because that is weighing on inflation in the US. So we're going to be watching that inflation data very, very closely, because we have detected that shift in rhetoric from talking about the unemployment situation to talking about the inflation situation.